Hello, Kehilat Darchei Tzion. We're Erev Shabbat, Parashat Bereshit. And we're reading this week a haftarah from Yeshayahu Membet Men Gimel that was just written for us. In the past 2 years, we've been reading it in one way, and Baruch Hashem, this year we can read it in another way. Then the haftarah describes the great power of Hashem, the creator of the world, that from the idea that he created the world, we know that he also rules history, and that he has the power to release Am Yisrael from all its miseries and redeem Am Yisrael from exile and bring them back to Eretz Yisrael. But it's not only galut as opposed to Geulah that is described in this haftarah, but also what happens to Am Yisrael. The fact that people were taken captive, and Hashem says that he is going to release those that are captive, those that were held in dungeons and in prisons. They're going to be released. The way the pasuk describes it is Hashem is going to release from dungeons and from dark places all of those held captive. We continue in the haftarah, and we see that this description is not about a prophecy that will be. People in Am Yisrael are really in trouble, are held captive, they are imprisoned, they are being looted, and unfortunately we saw that happening. And then Hashem, the prophecy continues that the people ask, Minatan limshisa Yaakov Yisrael vozazim, who enabled Am Yisrael to be looted and be taken captive like this? Who allowed this to happen? And the answer is Halo Hashem. It's Hashem who did it. And why? Because Am Yisrael did not follow his ways. Am Yisrael did not go in the correct path of the Torah and the mitzvot, and they didn't follow his ethical ways, the correct way of behavior. They didn't go in his path. And this is an acceptance of the great judgment that Hashem punished Am Yisrael with it. And this reminds us of a story in Masechet Gittin, where the Gemara tells us about Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania, who finds himself in Rome, and he is told that there's a child, a Jewish child, held in prison in Rome. He goes by the prison, and he sees this child. He catches his eye, and he sees him imprisoned, and then he cries out loud. He says out loud, Mi natanim shisa Yaakov Yisrael vozazim. Who enabled this to happen and allowed Am Yisrael to be held captive and be looted? And the answer is, the child answers, Halo Hashem, zuchatanu lo, velo avu vidrachav aloch, velo shamru betorato. It's Hashem who did it because we didn't follow his ways. Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania is so impressed by this child that he makes a really big effort and collects a lot of money and frees him from prison. What impressed Rabbi Yoshua ben Hanania? Was it the Tanakh test that he knew to complete the pasuk without having a book in front of him? Could be. That is pretty impressive. But I think it's more than that. I think it's the content. The child could have been upset. The child could have been angry, and it had the right to be so. He could have said, Halo Hashem. And we're very upset. What did we do to deserve this? He could have said, I don't know. I'm not willing to answer this. It's the Romans who took us. And the child completes the pasuk, accepting the punishment and understanding that what happened to Am Yisrael was something that happened because that Am Yisrael was at the wrong. Am Yisrael made many problems. And this haftarah that we read this year, when we have a breather, when, Baruch Hashem, we have the zchut of the first pasuk that came true, that they left the prisons and the dungeons, and they're back with us. Where we can look back at this pasuk and say, what can we do as a nation to make sure that this doesn't happen again? What can we do, not only as an army, but what can we do as a nation to reunite, to fix our ways, to mend our behavior, to make sure that as a nation we will not be in a situation where Hashem enables such a disaster to happen again. I think this is the awakening call from our haftarah that is so relevant to our times. Shabbat Shalom and Mevorach Lekol Am Yisrael.